the Olympic Stadium at Montjuic as the Camp Nou undergoes renovations. And joining us now live from Barcelona with more ahead of El Clasico, Cristina Alexander. Cristina, great to have you back with us here on Futbol Americas. We appreciate you staying up late over there in Spain. Now, I was checking out your Instagram. I saw you got a chance to speak with Ilkay Gundogan, one of the midfielders there for Barcelona. I want to know what he said, but more importantly, I've looked ahead in the rundown. We have our betting segment, Book It, coming up, so I need to know specifics. Give me the full injury update on Barcelona, because right now, Chris, they're in a bit of a crisis, aren't they?
Yeah, just a little bit of a crisis, Sebi, Herc. I always love hanging out with you guys. I would only stay up this late for you guys. And the coffee's really good here, so I can't really complain, and the food is just amazing. But that's something completely different. Let's talk about these injuries, because that's been something that's been on Xavi's mind, whether he likes it or not, in the last few weeks, months even. The one most important, of course, in the last few weeks has been the Robert Lewandowski situation, which sources close to Barcelona have confirmed to ESPN that he is willing to get some help for tomorrow in order to be able to at least be available for Xavi upcoming on Saturday. It's the same case for Frenkie de Jong, but we know the kind of injuries that they're dealing with. We know Jules Koundé isn't going to be there. We know Pedri still has a little bit to go before he's recovered. But there's this other story that's been really great to see from Futbol Club Barcelona, which is what the fans have wanted for a while now, and that's bringing La Masia back to center stage. And that's what we've seen since Ronald Koeman had to do that. But now we've seen some of these players come to fruition. The average age of the players who were on the attacking positions yesterday in the Champions League match, Seb, Herc, 18 years old. So yeah, it's this really tough story of these injuries and having to kind of plan B, C in these kids, essentially, in 16 and 17-year-olds, which is crazy to see. But one of the things that Ilkay Gundogan told me is that, yeah, they're young players, but they've proven that they're ready for big games. And that's the big message that they're sending across, not only on the inside, but it's translating on the field.
Well, it sounds like the kids are going to be on display not only for Barcelona, but also on the Real Madrid side, and most importantly, Jude Bellingham. I mean, he's one of the best players in the world right now, off to a hot start. Came out injured in that game, Champions League versus Braga, where he scored again. What are they saying about Jude Bellingham? What's the vibe around the city right now with Jude Bellingham?
Yeah, the vibe, Herc, is that he's going to be there, that there's no problem. He even clarified it yesterday. Fans, it's okay, I'll be at El Clasico on Saturday. And of course they're worried about him. And Carlo Ancelotti is worried about him, because that's been the theme since Jude Bellingham has gotten to Real Madrid. Not only the goals that he's been scoring, but the way that Ancelotti has really adapted the system now for Jude Bellingham, playing behind Rodrigo, who's found the goal after almost completing 1,000 minutes without it. We hadn't seen that goal from him since week 1. And of course, Vinicius Jr. coming back from an injury. So of course, Jude Bellingham gets a little knock, and everybody's kind of holding their breath because of what Jude Bellingham means for this Real Madrid team. And at the end of the day, it's calmness with Jude Bellingham. Keep calm, carry on. Jude will be there. And it's the same case for Joao Felix, because we know that he's become important enough to be a worry if he maybe isn't available for Barcelona. But of course, it was just a knock on his hip. In the Champions League, yeah, Champions League was two scares for Barcelona and for Real Madrid. So they're tied, but at the same time, Joao Felix, Jude Bellingham, they'll be there, because I asked Ilkay Gundogan about Jude Bellingham as well, and he kind of tiptoed around the question. I'm not going to lie, just saying that it's a collective effort, and they can't just focus on one player. It's a collective effort because of what Real Madrid really brings to the table, which is a lot.
It may be a collective effort, but without those 11 goals, can you imagine where Real Madrid would be right now? Top of the table, things looking good at the moment ahead of El Clasico. All right, let's focus on the atmosphere. One in the city, of course, you know, you're out there on the ESPN, on the Disney dime, enjoying Barcelona, so give us a little bit of the color of the city. But also specifically anything that you're hearing about the stadium, because we've done some pre-games on ESPN Plus for Barcelona games at Montjuic, and especially ahead of El Clasico. I wonder if it not being at the Camp Nou will impact this game.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm most interested in seeing. To be completely honest, this is my first El Clasico. I'm insanely excited about it, but more than anything because it's a historic situation, because we're going to see it at Montjuic. Some of my colleagues were able to attend the Champions League match yesterday, about 42,000, a little more than 42,000 that attended. And they didn't expect that many fans to be at this Shakhtar match. There was less fans at the weekend game against Athletic Club. But the reason why they didn't expect so many fans to be there last night was because it was about 6 p.m. local time, so folks are still getting off work. And we know that it's kind of like on the top of a hill, on top of a little mountain. I don't want to call it a big mountain. It's not too big, but it's still a ways to get there, which is one of the things, and that's why fans haven't really been wanting to make those games every time. So that'll be interesting to see, because they were there for the Champions League match, and the atmosphere, I was told, was fantastic, and that's what we're hoping for on Saturday. That's what everybody here is hoping for at Montjuic, because at the end of the day, it's El Clásico. The fans are going to show up because the team really needs them right now. These kids that I was mentioning really need the fans to show up. But it'll be interesting, because we know that because of the Olympic, of the track and everything, the fans are a little bit more far away. But I feel like that kind of challenges the fans a little bit to just be even louder. So I'm interested to see that. But yeah, it's around 50,000 capacity, and that's what they're expecting.
There she is, Cristina Alexander. Thanks so much for staying up late with us here on Futbol Americas, Cristina. As always, great to have you on the show.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, guys.